There are secrets so heavy they don't explode all at once. They leak slowly, quietly, and by the time the truth finally shows itself, it has already soaked into every memory you thought you understood. This story begins with a boy who didn't know any of that yet. So picture this. He is about 10 years old, give or take the fuzzy math of childhood, old enough to remember faces, young enough to trust everything adults told him. One afternoon, his mother took him by the hand and walked him to a man's house. No explanation, no conversation, just instructions. And says, "Wait here." So the boy waited outside. Across the yard, kids were playing football, yelling, laughing, kicking up dust. Kids invited him to join, and he did. Because when you're a child, boredom is boring, but curiosity is undefeated. Time stretched long enough for the thought to creep in, why is she taking so long? Eventually, his mother emerged with the man. The man smiled warmly, reached out, and gently touched the boy's cheeks before slipping money into his hand, but that moment felt oddly formal, like a ritual neither side was fully explaining. To a child, this moment meant nothing more than extra money and treats. To an adult, looking back, already smelled like secrecy. And then, they left. The visits continued. Not once, not twice, but many times. Sometimes the boy waited in the hallway. Some days he was sent on long errands while his mother stayed inside. Every single visit ended exactly the same way: money, candy, a reward handed off in silence. It felt innocent. It felt normal. It felt like luck. To the child, it was the coolest thing ever. Extra treats, extra cash, plus spontaneous football games with strangers outside a mystery house. What kid wouldn't enjoy that? He had no idea he was standing inside an invisible transaction he never consented to understand. At home, the boy was different. Not in a talented genius way, nor in a golden child way, but in a protected way. He was the firstborn of 4 children, yet received the love and protection normally given to the baby of the family. Every trouble he caused, covered up. Every punishment his father attempted, intercepted. His siblings were disciplined for mistakes. The boy was defended. Eventually, even Dad noticed the pattern. This child was guarded, all the time, against everything. Dad became unusually watchful, eventually stepping in himself when Mom's shielding went too far. But the invisible bubble around the boy never popped. It remained intact, built from silence and protection. Years passed. The errand house visits stopped. The boy entered junior high school. Life adapted. Childhood memories began fading like chalk in the rain. Then one day, something strange happened. Posters appeared. On walls, in homes. Big memorial posters displaying the smiling face of that man from the house. The boy immediately recognized him, panicked slightly, ran to his mother and said, "Mom, that man, his face is everywhere." She laughed. Not a joyful laugh, more like a nervous exhale. She dismissed the comment and walked away. Later that day, the boy saw her eyes. Red, swollen. She had been crying. Even without adult comprehension, a child knows what swollen red eyes mean. Death. That man was gone, and suddenly all those strange visits slammed back into relevance. The boy never heard the story, never received an explanation, and over time, the memory sank quietly into the background. Orphaned, incomplete, unanswered.
Life went on. All 4 children grew older. Their father labored tirelessly to educate them as best he could. They weren't wealthy, only determined. Eventually, Dad passed away. The family buried him with deep honor. Because no matter what else might someday be discovered, that man had loved his children. and given them every ounce of strength he possessed. The mother lived on, and during her later years, she said something strange, repeatedly to this boy, now a grown man. "Come home, one day I will die, and what's on my heart for you will remain unknown." The boy brushed it off as emotional manipulation, a typical parent guilt trip. Because every time he visited, she never actually said what was on her heart, just vague sadness, long pauses, heavy sighs, truth stuck behind a locked door. Then came her last question. Before her death, she asked, "Do you remember the man whose posters you saw when you were young?" The question hit like déjà vu. He answered, "Yeah, what about him?" She paused. "I thought you'd forgotten. I'm just asking." And then she said nothing. Instead, she switched topics. She started naming relatives who had died, neighbors, grandparents, and even distant relatives who had passed, just death after death after death, avoiding the question that had summoned the memory in the first place. And when he pressed for answers, she brushed him off, changed subjects, avoided answers like they were landmines. Shortly afterward, she shut down completely. She passed. After her death, the question roared louder than ever. Was she trying to confess and couldn't find the courage? He decided to stop guessing and start knowing. That answer came through blood, not words. He secretly did a DNA test using samples from his youngest sibling. The result shattered everything. They were not full siblings. They were half-siblings, which meant one thing. His father was not his biological father. The man who raised him, loved him, protected him, paid for his education, went to his grave believing he was his biological son, wasn't. Suddenly, everything rewrote itself. The mystery house, the gifts, the protection, the secrecy. The man whose posters haunted his childhood was the real father. And the emotional fallout wasn't dramatic explosions or screaming meltdowns. No. This type of betrayal moves slower. It fossilizes. It settles in the chest. The man felt strange about his mother's memory now. The love wasn't gone, but it was fractured. Because this wasn't just a one-time affair. This was a sustained lie, decades long. She lied to her husband. She hid the truth from her son. She stripped him of the chance to know his biological family, stole the possibility of identity before he ever knew he needed it. And now, that father is dead, untraceable, nameless to him, possibly with other children he will never meet. Ghost siblings out in the world, relatives shaped by DNA he never knew. Now he has children of his own. He secretly DNA tested them. They are his. Yet the damage remains. Trust doesn't recover cleanly. He still loves his wife, but the innocence is gone. One eye wide open, one heart guarded. The secret lives only inside him. His siblings don't know. His extended family doesn't know. No one knows. They move through holidays pretending nothing has fractured beneath the surface. Because the true tragedy isn't betrayal. It's that secrets don't vanish when discovered. They simply change owners. And some truths never free anyone. They only find a new place to hide. Buried not in the past, but inside the living.